Hey, what's up, everybody? Doug Shoemaker here with the Shoemaker Loan Team and the Home Foundation, and I'm here with my good friend Steve Ellerbrake. How are you doing today, Steve?
Fantastic today. How about you?
I don't know, man. Did you see if I won the Powerball last night?
Nobody won it. It's 1 point whatever after the point. I guess it doesn't matter anymore.
No, good gosh. So if you won 1 point whatever $1 million, what do you think you'd do first?
Number one, don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody. Nobody.
It sounds like you've thought about this a little bit. I mean, you got a couple other tips for people that are winning the lottery?
I don't play the lottery, but I got fed a YouTube video where a guy was talking about what you should and shouldn't do, and I thought it was pretty on point. You don't tell anybody. You sign the ticket, take a picture front and back, email the picture to yourself, take the ticket, get a safety deposit box, preferably at a bank where you don't have any other accounts. You don't make any calls on your phone whatsoever because you're just going to grind that phone up in a day. You go get a different phone, and if you can do it anonymously, like a burner phone, that's the way to do it. I think you can still get those at Walmart where you just pay a couple $100 and you get a phone with some time on it. And then I guess you call your attorney. Then your tax attorney. Probably need to leave your accountant and financial advisors out of it. But you're moving, so grab anything you can fit in your knapsack, hop on a Greyhound bus, and get out of town as fast as possible.
Sounds like he's thought about this just a little bit.
These are all just suggestions other people have made, and I like educating myself, so I read a lot, when I have interest in something, and you should go look it up. It's pretty entertaining, and you can live vicariously through the presenters just imagining what it would be like. But I don't know about the B on the end of the billion. I think that B means blow up for a lot of people. but for me, I think I could manage it just fine. Those zeros added on the end of things don't change it much for me. I'm not really out for money.
Anything you could think of that just crazy, something fun that you would do? Oh, right out of the gate, just something you've wanted to do forever.
Well, if it's a do thing, I've done a lot of those things. There aren't a lot of things left on my bucket list, but I might do something like get trained in how to, you put the fly suit on, you just put the suit on, jump off that mountain in Switzerland, and
the squirrel suits, yeah.
I'd probably try something like that because then I'd be able to afford the insurance and any medical bills that might follow. So.
I don't know. I might rethink all the crazy stuff I do. I mean, I love skydiving and scuba diving and racing and all this stuff. But, man, if I got that many millions or billions of dollars, I might get a little bit safer.
It's 1,000 million, dude.
1,000 million.
And if it's 1.25 or something, that's 1,250 million that you're talking about there. So I think that puts things in perspective. I did see an article today that the $1 million home is becoming the norm. So.
Wow.
Maybe you'll need all that.
I guess so. Well, hey, everybody, the reason we're here today is to talk a little bit about Steve and his team. And I've been friends with Steve for probably 20 years in the real estate industry. And Steve's always been a big contributor to our community. For anybody who doesn't know, I started something called the Midwest Wing Fest about 15 years ago. And we have 20 or 30,000 people that come out to the beautiful city of Fairview Heights, Illinois, over Labor Day weekend every year. And we have live bands. We have 15, 20 different food vendors out there, a massive kids area. It's an epic party, but it's for a much more epic cause. We raise the money to help combat wounded soldiers and the families of fallen local heroes. And Steve and his family have been really big supporters for a number of years now. So one, I just want to thank you for that, man. But Steve, tell me a little bit about you, man. I mean, how long have you been in the area, and why does, community and this mean so much to you?
Well, I'll tell you, O'Fallon's a great place, and the Metro East, this part of Illinois is a beautiful area, lots of great people around, and it's amazing how many military folks retire in other areas, and they come back to Illinois, come back to O'Fallon area and Scott Air Force Base area. And I've been here since 1972. Having been born in St. Louis and my first 8 years on that side of the river. And then we bought a piece of property out here, and I've been there ever since. My wife and I bought the old schoolhouse on the farm I grew up on, renovated that, and raised our kids there. So I've been a part of this community my whole life. I went to O'Fallon schools. And then I've been in the real estate industry right after college. I got right into the real estate business, and that was 86. So I've been doing it a little over 35 years now. And in our real estate life, we've had about 1,200 transactions. So we've seen a lot in this business and a lot of changes, and we'll talk a little bit about those later. But I love O'Fallon. I love all the people here, and we could live about anywhere we want, but we choose here.
Yeah. You know, I always find it fascinating what you were talking about with a lot of our military. They travel the world, and they choose St. Clair County or southwestern Illinois as their place to call their forever home. And one of the things that drives me nuts is the amount of people that come here. They're here for 3 or 4 years, and they never realize the culture we have. They never realize that we're 15 minutes from pretty much anything you could ever want to do but the ocean. I mean, we do have Carlisle Lake and the beach at Carlisle Lake, and I guess some people claim Pontoon Beach as a beach. But, yeah, we got so much to do here. But, you know, military folks will come, and right before they're getting ready to leave is when they find out about Garden of the Gods or Giant City or some of these really amazing places in St. Louis to go kayaking.
Yeah, you can go on the Ozark National Scenic Riverway. It's just a few hours from here, and that's a nationwide highlight in the national park system. Shawnee National Forest is very underrated. The restaurant scene in St. Louis is very underrated. I just think there's a lot going on around here that when people live here for a little while, they could take advantage of. And on our website, we have a places to go and things to do section, and that gets a lot of traction. And same on our Facebook page, it gets a lot of interest, and there's so much to do around here. And I think that's one of the reasons people come back is they love the lifestyle once they've been here a little bit. And I ask people this question: what brings you back to O'Fallon or to the area? When they're a military buyer that's lived here before, they've been overseas or at another duty station, and they end up back here. I always ask, well, what brings you back here? And they almost always 2-1 say it's the people, and that people are polite. They open the door for you, say hello, wave, smile, all those kinds of things, all those sort of community interactions that make a difference.
Yeah, you know, Steve's also got a page on Facebook called My O'Fallon. You know, so one of the things that I encourage all of you guys to do is if there's something that you absolutely love about our area, make sure and send us a message because, man, if there's something that our military people or our first responders need to hear about or just people in general moving to the area, we'd love to go out and shoot a video and let you guys know what's out there. So if we don't know about something, by all means, let us know. And if you have something that you'd like everybody to see, maybe we'll come out and do an interview with you as well.
100%. My O'Fallon is all about just community events and everything from the band's rummage sale to sports events and picnics and everything gets on there. And it's all about lifestyle around O'Fallon.
Yeah. Well, everybody, I've been in the mortgage industry for about 25 years, somewhere around there. And anybody who knows the industry or the real estate industry, it is about a full-time job and a half most of the time. And so the mortgage industry has been kind of the food for my family. And when I started Wingfest, it's a volunteer organization. I don't take any money. My team doesn't take any money. So we kind of look at that as the food for my soul. And, you know, recently we started the Home Foundation. Home stands for Heroes of the Metro East. And it was kind of a way to bring the two together, you know, so I could focus efforts on one activity that serves two different paths. And one of the reasons I wanted to have you here today, Steve, is because you've always been a big supporter of the community and our military and our first responders. Tell me a little bit about what you guys do for the community and our first responders with your team.
Well, we serve and protect, for lack of a better way of putting it. We're trying to make sure that people that are buying homes get protected in the process, get a good deal, and understand the whole process. And then selling, likewise, we're just trying to get them through the process with as a good result on the end as possible. But around town, there are a lot of military folks around here, so our brokerage has donated to Airman's Attic on the base, and we are always looking for opportunities like that to interact. And that's one of the things we love about Wingfest is it's all about helping out and supporting a good cause. So we're most appreciative for that. And then we're excited about the home possibilities also. So, you know, it's a military community, but we're trying to serve military clients just the way we would serve everybody in terms of our real estate transactions and representation. But yeah, I mean, O'Fallon is always been a military community. My wife is a military brat. My father-in-law is a retired colonel, and we have employees on our team that are military spouses. In fact, Carla Fletcher is one who handles a lot of our postings on my O'Fallon. And then Terry Clear in our office just celebrated her 11th anniversary with us. She's a military wife. And so we're particularly attuned to the ups and downs of military life and the moves and how that happens and the order of affairs and so on. And right now it's PCS season, so we're bracing for the influx, and we're ready. So, we're also military relocation certified professionals, and that means that we've got specialized training, and we're continuing education all the time just to stay up on top of all of the issues, and especially with issues that veterans and first responders may face. And there's some new things coming around the bend now. There's a National Association of Realtors settlement, which if it's ratified will have some implications for how military buyers can interact with Veterans Administration financing, for example. So there are a lot of misnomers out there, a lot of bad information, misinformation, and there are a lot of details we just don't know yet because this deal hasn't been completely hammered out. But you'll see a little bit more about it, and we'll be talking more about it as time goes on. But definitely, if you're military, you should try to act quickly. If you're buying now, try to get something done. And otherwise, by July of 2024, there could be some pretty major changes, and it might take a while for those changes to level out in the market and for military folks not to be hurt by that. So we'll see what happens, but we're keeping a close eye on things, and that's always a concern of ours is just what happens in the market to our clients and things we need to watch out for.
Yeah, guys, I think that's one of the things that's really, really important about real estate in general is making sure that you're working with what I call hyper-local people. Because if you went to Dr. Google and you searched, this NAR lawsuit or settlement, you're going to find so much information out there. And a lot of it is just fear-mongering, trying to scare you into clicking on their little video or whatever the case may be. It's kind of like the housing bubble videos we've seen every year for the last 6 years. There's really no recipe for it, but I guess they feel like if they can scare you enough, you'll click on it and they can get paid whether it's true or not. So make sure that you're reaching out to Steve's team or, somebody that's hyper-local that understands the area. A really good example of that, too, I got a client a week or so ago that they're moving to Chicago from another state, and the spouse is 70% disabled, so they're going to have their property taxes waived. They're going to have an exemption for it. And they're buying a house that's around $800,000 in Chicago, and there's this idea out there that, if you buy more than $750,000, you're not going to get any exemption at all. And so if you call, say, St. Clair County, they'll tell you one thing. If you call Cook County, they'll tell you another. So just don't take general advice on these topics is my point. Wherever you're at, you really want people that are hyper-local to that area that even if they don't know the perfect answer right off the bat, they know who they can call and get that perfect answer for you because guidelines change all the time.
Yeah, that's the understatement of the year right there. And with regard specifically to military disability, those rules are dicey, and you can get hurt if you don't structure your offer on a new home or if you don't structure that correctly, you can't take advantage of it in some instances. So it's a great example of how to what you need to stay on top of in order to protect your client.
Yeah, another great one, guys, for our military members that do have disability. There's a lot of lenders out there that when you buy your house, even if you're 70% or more disabled, they're going to set your loan up with tax escrow. This time of year, you're going to have probably 9 months, 10 months worth of real estate taxes that you'd have to put in your escrow account. If those taxes are $600 a month, that could be $6,000 they're making you bring to your closing. And then you've got that tax payment in your monthly payment every month, all the way up until 6 months or maybe a year later when they reanalyze your account and your servicer refunds that money. But man, for 6 months or a year, you're paying a lot of money out of your pocket. And I'm here to tell you, because we did the extra work to get these rules changed, we set your loan up if you're 70% or more disabled in the state of Illinois. We set your loan up without tax escrow from the beginning. So just the difference between working with somebody who's truly committed to our military and first responders versus somebody, not to be mean, but somebody who's kind of pretending to want to help you guys, there's a really, really big difference.
Yeah, it takes experience, and I've dealt a lot with Doug and his team over the years, and my daughter and I actually bought a house with Doug this year, and the experience definitely makes a difference, especially with regard to these finer points we've been talking about, 100%, and that's a great reason to go with a local lender. All you military people, please use a local lender wherever you're going. Everybody will benefit. You'll get much better service, much better close ratio, much better experience with the whole appraisal process, loan commitment process. These contracts are written on a local basis. It is hyper-local. Our multiple listing service and our local realtor association has a lot to do with how the contracts are structured. The local laws, state laws, federal laws, all those play as well. So you really need to know those differences in order to have a deal flow smoothly.
Yeah, and I would say, too, don't just trust everything you see and hear. Make sure you look at local reviews. Make sure they're real reviews from real people. Make sure you read what they actually had to say. Many years ago, Steve was one of the ones that really defined what a real estate team was. 20 years ago, everybody was solo. You know, they were running around like crazy, trying to do 1,800 things. And anytime you brought up, hey, you should get a team, you should have an assistant, you should have this or that, everybody said, oh, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. And his team was one of the first ones to really prove it does work. You know, having that extra person that's looking over all the contract details. For instance, you know, my wife is my right hand. She's amazing at everything I'm terrible at. And when I've got her working with, say, Steve's transaction coordinator, those two together, making sure paperwork doesn't get missed, make sure deadlines don't get missed. And we're humans and we can get real busy and mistakes can happen. So to be able to perfect that team aspect like you have and you've grown it ever since, man, what was that like?
Well, my wife actually started our real estate team in the 90s, and she started out as a solo agent. And like you said, grew it into a team, and I took it from there. And we've just really we have a sign on our wall that says, don't fall in love with your plan. And the idea there is to always be innovating. And in our team meetings, it's in large part about how do we get better every day? How do we get better and better at this? And so it makes a difference in terms of how the systems function. And we're on the receiving end of when it doesn't work quite often, which is a great teacher. So if we're representing a seller, for example, I know most of the agents in our association or have dealt with many of them, and I kind of know what to expect, but we're still learning something new every day. And that's one of the things about this business is that it changes so fast, and the personalities and even down to the individual clients, buyers and sellers, lenders, all local municipalities, occupancy inspectors, you know, everybody plays into the process, and it's important to stay on top of all that.
Yeah. Steve, when it comes to our military, our first responders, in terms of, you know, some of the differences working with them or some of the struggles that they go through, I'd like to talk about that a little bit, because there's a lot of lenders and real estate agents that are really 9 to 5. You know, it's really hard to get a hold of them after hours. You're definitely not answering your call on a weekend.
100%.
Talk to me a little bit about some of the struggles you've gone through and solutions you've come up with for folks coming from maybe Germany or somewhere else where there's mega time difference.
First of all, you can call me anytime. You can text me anytime, email me anytime. And if I'm sleeping, I just won't answer. But we're flexible, and flexibility is the key. And for example, we have a seller client who's a military physician. And if you can imagine wacky hours, he's got them, and he's local. So he'll work all night, sleep all day. And then the next week he'll be working all day, sleeping all night. And we have to coordinate all the entry for inspections and the whole escrow period around that. And then we have unique situations where, let's say you're stationed in Stuttgart and you need to get a package from FedEx overnighted or second day air to you and back to the closing in time for everything to work out with signatures in the right spots and so on. There's just a lot that you need to make sort of individualized care when it comes to the client. First responders the same way. A lot of, firemen, he may be on call all night, and it may just be the time when he wants to communicate is in the dark.
Yeah.
So we're just flexible, and any military person that's had a move understands the difficulties. And sure, you have sometimes you have the military moving your stuff for you, but that's not always easy either. It really complicates prep, for example, because your move's all happening maybe a day before your moving truck is there. You're packing, but you need to have your house on the market a month before you're packing, and so there are a lot of variables that we're just constantly figuring out new ways to address and help with.
Seen a lot of people live out of a duffel bag for a week or two.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very interesting.
Well, and one part of the family might go ahead of the other parts. So you have all these difficulties with spouses and kids being apart, and plus pets. How do you manage the pets and in dealing with showings and moving and cleaning and all those things? It's very complicated. And when you have somebody on the receipt in a service position, understanding that, it just makes things go better, and you don't have to explain things as a buyer or seller client. If you're in the military, you don't have to explain everything to us. We'll have some questions related to your move, and when you get orders and all those things, that you'll immediately understand that we know what we're doing.
Of all the different things that happen in the community, one of my favorite things is the lit Christmas parade. And man, you always have a huge presence there.
Hey, Grand Champions this year, baby.
Yeah, how cool is that?
It's great. That's a Keller Williams Pinnacle project, and we have tons of participation from our brokerage on that. It's just a lot of fun. But that parade is, I would venture a guess there's 10,000 people on the sidelines of that parade. It's a mad event, and it's at night, and it's illuminated. And I don't think you'll find that type of thing in too many hometowns like we have here, and nearby communities like Belleville. They have great street parties and art on the square, and Fairview Heights has a fantastic park system, and they do a lot of things too. So all around here, there are really fun things like that to do, and that's a big one. That's a big one we do. We love it.
Yeah, that parade is absolutely awesome, man. It's really, really cool. Now, Steve, is there anything that you would like for our military and our first responders to really think about when they think about your team, when they're making a choice, when they buy or sell their next home?
Well, I would say we're military ready, and we have lots of military affiliation on our team. We have 2 military spouses on our team, and Eric Booth, one of our top agents, is a Navy veteran, and we just have a lot of experience dealing with military transactions by virtue of the fact we're right next to Scott Air Force Base. I would also say this, you'll get no pressure from us. We've advised sellers at times to go ahead and rent. If they've been at the duty station in too short an amount of time or paid too much for the home, they're upside down, they can't get out. It's rare these days, but sometimes it makes more sense to rent. And we're all about the best outcome for the client, financially speaking, making good decisions for your family. So I'm always available, and I don't mind talking to anybody. I'll talk on the phone with anybody who calls, whether we're clients or in a client relationship or not, and do anything that I can to help. And that goes for just about anything construction related too. If you guys are out there and trying to figure out what to do, how to fix up your house to get it ready to sell, call me. You can FaceTime me. We can look at things remotely. I can stop by, take a look, and help out. So I would just say don't hesitate to pick up the phone and give us a call or text or email.
Well, and everybody, Steve's pretty humble, but I mean, he's even been a home builder in the past. So the knowledge that he's got when it comes to building homes is pretty extraordinary.
Well, I'll tell you, I mentor younger agents, and one of the things that really messes with inexperienced agents is this whole inspection process, because they may not know what a GFCI is, or they may not understand that the flue pipe has to have 3 screws at every joint, or pick 1,000 things like that I have 20 years of home building experience, custom home building experience, and some commercial and industrial experience too before my life as a real estate broker. And it really pays off. It really helps out, especially in the inspection process. Once you're under contract, if you're a buyer, you want to make sure you understand what the defects are, what things you can responsibly ask your seller to do, and vice versa. When you're a seller, if for example, you have an air conditioner that works fine, but it's approaching the end of its useful service life, that's not a reason for a buyer to come along asking for a new one. And that's just a subtle little thing, but it's in the contract, and we understand the contract. Yeah.
To that point, we've got a rental property that we bought recently, and I had 3 or 4 different HVAC people come out to give us bids on the heating and cooling. There's 2 houses on the property, and most of these people told me that it was going to be $10,000 to $15,000 per house to update this HVAC. Where I had a recommendation from one of my real estate friends, and Joey came in and took a look at it. Man, he opened up where the coil's at on it, cleaned the thing to death, and it didn't even need to be replaced. This thing blows 3 times harder. It's cold as can be. And
clean the A coil and let the air blow through it. Maybe it'll work.
Maybe it'll work. I mean, it's going to cost me $4,500 instead of $20,000 or $30,000 now. So it just really makes a difference. Again, that goes to the hyper local part of it. It's not just the experience Steve's got or that my team have. We've been in this market for most of our lives. We've been in real estate for 20 and 30 years. And we've got a lot of connections that we can introduce you to. To that point, everybody, the purpose of the Home Foundation is to get local business people, especially people that have a military, law enforcement, or firefighter connection, that are willing to go above and beyond and either give you extra service or discounts. On average, the average person buying a home when they work with the Home Foundation saves thousands of dollars. And that's no exaggeration. I mean, it's a lot of money. I mean, between us waiving our origination charges, we make donations to local 501c3s on your behalf. Between the discounts that Steve and his team offers, we've got home inspectors, we've got insurance agents, we've got financial advisors, you name it. We've got people that, because of what you've done for us, they're all willing to go way above and beyond for you. So if you or somebody you care about is military, law enforcement, or a firefighter, you're considering buying a home, or someone you love is, make sure and reach out to us first, because it's a lot of money that you're going to save. We've got people across the country. So in a lot of states, we've got Home Foundation folks. So even if you're moving out of the area, we've got people that are going to be willing to help you. Now, if you are a service provider and you work by referral and you think you might benefit from the network of people that we've got that are military, law enforcement, or firefighters, and you are one yourself, we'd love to hear from you too.
Absolutely. Yeah, no question about it. And there are plenty of discounts that we offer for military and first responders that add up. But even if we're not working in a working relationship, if you need a plumber, just give me a call and I'll hook you up.
Amen. Hey, everybody, we appreciate you being here today. If you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to reach out. And if you'd like a custom financial analysis, we'd love to provide it for you. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.